Hey guys, this is Puneet from OddsJam bringing you two positive EV bets of the day. So, what I'm looking at today is Thursday Night Football. Obviously, we got to check out some primetime sports. And I have another game here that I'm looking at and another play, which is an NBA play. So, we'll start with Thursday Night Football. So, what I'm looking at here, as you can see, I usually do, this is doing something different today, usually do a $100 plus EV bet play. But what I did today was split it up between two because I love sports and I'm trying to jump around and see where I can find the best value and biggest bang for my buck. I think both of these are very good, which is why I'm going to split my positive EV bet between the two of them, 50 bucks each. So you can see here, the first one is Matt Ryan over 21 and a half completions for tonight's game. I'll put 50 bucks on that. And what I really want to look at here is Matt Ryan and his stats. So you can see that his completions, obviously the first game, that's really an outlier. But other than that, he's been consistently in the mid 20s, high 20s, up in the 30s. I think everyone knows that the Falcons are a very pass heavy team. And I think that today being down, especially to the Patriots, who have been playing very well as of late, I think the Falcons will have to pass the ball quite a bit in order to score some points here, and I'm pretty confident in this play. One thing I also wanted to look at here, specifically with Matt Ryan's completions, is how he does after a loss. So you can see after his loss to the Giants, he threw for 23 completions. After his loss to the Carolina Panthers, 25 completions. After his loss to the Washington football team, 27. And then after his loss to the Buccaneers, 21. So out of there's only one that didn't hit over 21 and a half, which was last week. And you got to really think that if he had one more completion, that one would have hit two. We're one off here, folks. So that's something really awesome to look at, and I'm really glad that we saw that on OddsJam positive EV bet. So going into the details for the percentage, it is an 8.47, almost 8.5% positive EV bet. So you can see here the OddsJam perfect line for over 21 and a half is minus 163, the under being plus 123. I threw it on BetMGM at minus 115, but it's also available on Caesars for minus 115. As you can see here, the percentage of this hitting is 58%. Amount to wager for my bankroll would be 48, which is why I rounded it up to 50 bucks. And again, this just looks like a very solid play. 58%, something I always like to look at. The things I like to look at are generally anything over 7-ish% are good for me. And then on top of this, I wanted some football action tonight. So finally got a good one here, and I wanted to share it with you all. So then moving on to my next one will be, as I log back in, will be what I said is the Ja Morant play. So you can see it here. It is Ja Morant over 23 and a half points at minus 157 with the OddsJam perfect line. Under that would be plus 118. 7.21% return, a positive EV bet return. So win percentage on this one as well, 57.1%, which is great. Like I said, for me, my rule of thumb is generally anything over 7%, I like to look at, I like to take a peek at, and then having something close to a 60% win percentage is also a really good indicator for me. Being a big basketball fan, this was something that I looked into as well and felt comfortable with. We can go into Ja Morant's stats himself. You can see that although the last two games he has gone under by 2 points, the last 3 out of 5 games he's hit that pretty easily. And then we can go into the Clippers. So he is playing the Clippers. As you can see here, as I'll pull this up on my bets, we see I put $50 down. So again, my $100 EV bet was split up into two, $50 on Ja over, another 50 bucks on Matt Ryan over. But again, going back to Ja Morant and going against the Clippers, you can see here against the Clippers, they've actually given up over 23 points to the team's highest score 4 of the last 5 games. So their defense is definitely a little shaky, a little rusty, something I think we can take advantage of here with this Ja Morant play. Another thing to look at is this row here that I'm highlighting is their away record. So it is a away game for the Clippers. So for them, they've been pretty mediocre on the road. They're 2-2 currently. And you can see here, advanced stats show that when they're home versus away, they give up an extra 5 points a game away, 101 to 106. And then they also give up 3 more assists and 3 more rebounds, total rebounds per game. So you can see there's definitely a difference between this Clippers team, who is 7-3 at home, but again, 2-2 on the road, between their home and away stats. So for me, I felt like this was also a no-brainer. Again, you can see here that we have the 2 plays that I mentioned, as well as some other plays. So if you're paying attention and you see something you like, you might be able to snag it. But again, we have here Matt Ryan over 21.5. You can see with the defensive stats for the Patriots, although, like I said, they have been pretty good this year. And as of late, they've kind of picked it up. But their completions per game, passing offense allowed completions per game on average is 20.6. So their average is right there. And basically all you need is Matt Ryan to hit for average, essentially. And according to his stats, his average is above 20 completions. So pretty confident in that. Again, you can check here. What I looked at specifically was the games after a loss, and he's hit over 21 every single time, minus just his last week, which was a 32-6 blowout. And even in a 32-6 blowout, he still was able to get 21 completions. So they're going to do a lot of dink and dunks, I'm assuming, a lot of trying to get the ball around. And then with Ja Morant, again, he hasn't hit it the last 2, but the last 3 out of 5, it's been pretty easy for him. Clippers are a very mediocre road team, give up 5 more points, and I think that's where we'll find that difference right there. So again, my 2 plays of the day that add up to my $100 of positive EV bets are Matt Ryan over 21.5 at minus 115 for a 8.5% positive EV value, and Ja Morant over 23.5 points, minus 114 on FanDuel for a 7.2% positive EV play. You guys know, find me on Twitter at BetArbs, where I'll be playing some things like this, and I'll be throwing some arbitrage betting as well, so some free money, so be sure to check me out. Once again, the 2 bets that I'm playing, Matt Ryan over, Ja Morant over. Happy betting, happy watching, folks, and we will cash together. Take care.